They call me Miss Carolyn because I'm the elder of the civil rights movement. My organization is Black Lives Matter Women of Faith. And I founded that organization to fight for justice for Laquan McDonald. He was brutally murdered by one of the CPD policemen in 2014, and they tried to cover it up. Today, it's about our young people. They have to vote. If you don't vote, you don't have a voice.
DiscoDemocracy.fun. DiscoDemocracy.fun. And they been really conscious. I like Democracy.fun.
Welcome to DiscoDemocracy.fun. Yes, I'm Disco Brian.
I'm Disco Lindsay.
And that's her. That's her. That's right. Singing Reverend Jesse Jackson into heaven at his funeral. That is Miss Carolyn Ruff from Chicago.
We met at the National Action Network convention in New York a few weeks ago.
And yeah, I knew I had seen her somewhere because just like days before that, when Reverend Sharpton was at Reverend Jesse Jackson's funeral with all the presidents, I was watching the live feed and I saw this vivacious woman singing with this hair of fire. And I was like, wait, I knew I'd seen her somewhere.
She looked fierce.
Yep.
Powerful.
Indeed.
Like you said.
And she was definitely part of a movement.
For sure.
And I'm so glad we got to meet her and ask her to an interview, and she accepted.
She's awesome. She's a freedom fighter. She was mentored by Jesse Jackson. And also grounded in the same traditions as Reverend Al Sharpton.
Yep. Fighting every day for justice. And after the interview, just a heads up, we did add some photos and clips to illustrate the stories and concerns that we discussed. Ms. Carolyn did not view those during our discussion, so that's just to be fully transparent here. Our aim with this show is to honor the insights and wisdom of movement elders like Miss Carolyn, while also exploring how her wisdom can inform and combat a lot of today's digital disinformation and the broligarch's dystopia.
So here's our conversation with Ms. Carolyn
Ruff.
Very much for inviting me into your and your wife space. I appreciate both of you.
Well, thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
We met you and you stood out brilliantly with that. My favorite color is the hue of your hair, because I am a Prince. I'm a Prince disciple, so that was like, I'm going there. And then you were so gracious and kind, and you made the experience beautiful. And I knew I needed to talk to you. And when you told me you were on stage for Reverend Jackson's funeral and that you were a singer and part of the Push Coalition, can you tell us just from the top, like, how did you get involved? When did you get involved? And
however you want to introduce yourself.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Of course, my name is, they call me Miss Carolyn because I'm the elder of the civil rights movement. And this is what my young people, my young activists call me. But my organization is Black Lives Matter Women of Faith. And I'm the founder of that organization. And I founded that organization to fight for justice for Laquan McDonald, that he was brutally murdered by one of the CPD policemen in 2014, and they tried to cover it up. So since then, I've been working really hard with families across the United States, fighting for their loved ones too. I'm getting so many calls asking me to come and stand in solidarity with their family, And so I try to honor that. I try to honor that. And so this is what I do. In fact, I just left an event where I was marching with this family where they didn't know anything about their loved one. He was dead for like two days before they got in touch with the family. And when they got in touch with the family, his organs were gone. And so it's just, it's just frightening to see how to see how things are today. I never thought that I would live to see this moment. Our children are being missing. There's so much chaos going on in the United States. And so I'm just glad that I have energy and strength to support other families.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for doing that. And Carolyn, we read that you were a teacher in your earliest career? Was that your first career? And what did you teach? And
okay, back then in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, there was like technical writers, computers, hardware computers and key punch, stuff like that. So I taught adult education and I taught dropouts so they could have a skill, when they decide to come back to school, and so this is what I taught, business courses.
Mm-hmm. And so in that work, were you also an activist while you were doing that work ever since? I mean, you don't look like you could have possibly been doing any teaching in the 60s.
To be honest with you, I didn't get involved until 2004. That's when I really decided. In fact, I retired in 2003. And so in 2004, I joined the movement under Reverend Jesse Jackson. And so I've been working ever since, being a freedom fighter, being an activist, and advocate for our homeless.
Wow. So did you find when you were teaching that there were, did you have a drive or an impulse to be a freedom fighter, a political activist when you were teaching, that there were barriers to allowing you to do that? Or did you feel constrained that you couldn't do that due to your job? It sounds like that retirement set you free to do the social justice work that you started doing then. Do I have that right?
You're absolutely right. And during the time that I was teaching, no, I didn't give that a consideration. But after I retired, and then after, I really didn't get into activism until 2014. But I was a member of the organization in 2004, and that's Rainbow Push. But like I said, after Laquan McDonald was murdered by the police, that's when I really took my activism serious.
And that was 2014, when he was murdered. When Laquan was murdered. And that was right around the time of Freddie Gray, right? And that was the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement, yes?
Trayvon Martin.
Absolutely. Wow. And did you at that time, since I had found you at the NAN convention and I saw pictures of you, I think going back a decade, have you been attending NAN conventions, and have you been also not only part of the Rainbow Push coalition, but also part of NAN? Has that been
I joined NAN like 5 years ago, and I would go every year until this COVID took place, and so I stopped for like 2 years. Like I didn't go last year. I didn't go during the time that there was this epidemic, COVID. So, but other than that, prior to that, yes, I have been going every year, so that was not my first time being at Nan's convention.
Right. Wow. I could see that. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you? So were your politics kind of always? My question is, were your politics always in your heart, in your soul, and did you feel like you wanted to get more involved and be an activist, or was it Laquan's murder that really compelled you to move? I'm asking because, you know, injustice has been a problem in our country. Well, let's see, ever since it was founded, right? So did you have that motivation when you were teaching? Would you look at the news and just kind of cringe and go, oh, I wish I could do that, but I can't because I have to focus on my job? What I'm trying to figure out is, how can we get people who are in their jobs and want to be active? Like, how can we, because I've met a lot of teachers, and Lindsay's been a teacher, and I've known a lot of teachers who feel like they can't express themselves due to the constraints of their job. And I'm wondering if you have any insights on that, and your experience. Like, where was your heart?
Back then when I was teaching, it was like Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Jackson. So at that time, I wasn't really doing any activism or freedom fighter then, but I would learn and I would watch every move that they march on, like when they march for the workers, you know, and so I would look at that and I would say, oh my God, you know, one day I want to become an activist. I want to put my name out there in the country so people could see what I do as a female, you know, because it's like, we need more young people, and I'm talking about young females, to take over this generation, you know, because we need more females to motivate our young men, you know, to continue the struggle, because we're all in this together. And so as hard as we fight, don't think that things are not happening. Things are happening, but it's not happening at our time. You understand where I'm coming from with this, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. So we just have, I'm sorry, would you say
not happening in our time, meaning like
we can't see things happening, but it's happening.
Oh yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from with this?
Things that are happening, like activism things that are happening, or things that are happening that we have to fight against.
Things that we're fighting against.
Yeah.
Things that we're fighting against.
What are some things that you are like top of mind that you're fighting against right now? Yeah.
Right now, I do mostly justice work. And I fought to get justice for Sonia Massey. So I still with that family, and I'm sure you heard what happened to her, Sonia Massey, here in Illinois.
Please tell us a little bit about that right now. Inform us.
Okay, sure. What happened? Sonia Massey was having like a mental health breakdown in her house. And her mom called the police and begging the police not to harm her, you know. And so what really happened, the police were in her backyard when she heard somebody in her yard. It was one of the police. And so he and his partner went into her home, and she was saying, please don't, I call the police, please don't hurt me, please don't do this, please don't do that. And so the police asked her for her identification in her own home. So she was struggling trying to find it. And so then one of the policemen noticed there was water on the stove boiling. And so he asked her to turn the water off. So she went over to turn the water off. And then he said something to her, and she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And so I guess he took that as a threat. So that's when he shot her in her head.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you could bring it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that happened 2 years ago.
Wow.
But thanks be to God, we got justice for her because he's now in prison. We wanted a first degree, but we couldn't get that first degree. So we got second.
Wow.
And second degree is like 20 years or less. So he got second, which was 20 years. And so we took that and rejoiced from that because we had no other choice but to accept that. And we thank God that the judge was fair.
Wow.
Because Laquan McDonald, I'm going back to him because he was like Emmett Till. I'm gonna put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. The person or the cop that shot him was Jason Van Dyke. And I fought hard to get justice for him. And sometime I would be the only one in court. And I was, that I was well known to the judge, invited me to his chambers, and we just had a conversation. It's just like he was part of my family, the judge. And I guess he felt that I was part of his family too, because they would see me in court representing Laquan McDonald, and I felt Laquan McDonald's spirit. And so his lawyers became really comfortable with me. They wanted Laquan McDonald's mom to come and testify. And she said, well, I can't because I have a young child here. I can't find a babysitter. So the judge, not the judge, but his lawyer, Laquan McDonald's lawyer, asked me if I would be willing to babysit for Laquan McDonald's mom so she could come to court because they were gonna penalize her, I guess, if she didn't come, and so
well, I mean, sounds like it was pretty important that she testify,
it was very intense.
Yeah.
And so finally she came, but I didn't have to babysit, And so I was in court all for a year because you go through the preliminary trial before the regular trial. So I followed that trial all year. And then once he was convicted, then that's when the family started coming.
Wow.
How did you become a person that people do reach out to help? Yeah.
I think it's the news media. They recognize what I do. They recognize my hair because I used to wear, my hair used to be like mixed, like since I'm an elderly, it used to be mixed, like red and silver. But then I decided to just change it to all red, So that's how the news media recognize me, because if you notice in all of my videos, you notice, my hair is this color.
Yeah. It stood out. It stands out.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So you recommend that we all we have to look distinctive so it can be found
Yeah.
when they're when people have a problem to be helped.
Or do we just have to find the fountain of youth? Because why do you look younger than me and I'm 50? Like, what's up with that?
I don't.
Wow.
I really
Um,
don't know. You know.
It's God.
What's your secret?
Yeah.
I think because I'm so active, and I think it's because people like you, the young people, and I'm calling you the young millennials, you all make me continue to look young. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for you guys, I would probably not do anything and just sit around and don't exercise, don't drink water, don't do anything, you know. But you guys keep me going. You keep me going, and that's it's like you all is part of my life, the younger
Oh, that's
people.
great. How do
Yeah,
you so with your organization, do you like bring young people in to like mentor them and work with them, or how does that
with
work?
with my organization, I teach them how to be voters and what voting is all about and how important it is to vote. Because today it's about our young people; they have to vote. So I teach them civil classes. You know why it's important to vote. If you notice, like all of your rights are being taken away from you. You know,
Hello.
so if you don't vote, you know, you don't have a voice. And
You
so,
know,
yeah, so that's what I teach them.
Carolyn, this is where you've landed now. It's a big deal.
Mhm.
The question of voting and the importance of it. We have both seen a really troubling disinterest from family, our
Mhm.
own family, people who voted for Obama, voted for Biden. And when we were out knocking doors for Kamala, we met people, white, black, everywhere, who we tried to get excited about voting and say,
Mhm.
hey, you know, let's not have what our Pennsylvania state senator calls the orange toe fungus. A man named Sharif Street has named Trump the ever present orange tongue
It always
fungus.
keeps developing. Once you think it's gone, it keeps coming back.
It keeps coming back, and so
Right.
we were trying to get, you know, especially like you say, kids younger than us, Gen Z,
Mhm.
excited.
Mhm.
Just couldn't. They just we would meet. I was heartbroken when I would meet, you know, young black men who would say, I'm going to vote for Trump because I want my tax cuts. And I'm just going, and you know, and
We have relatives that we don't know who they voted for, or if they really they're kind of disillusioned, you
completely.
know.
Mhm.
Um, so it's like, what do you? Yeah, like how do you empower people to feel?
How do I motivate our young people?
Have you changed any hearts in
Mhm.
your
Have you noticed any patterns like this, like with younger people?
Well, I notice, you know, our young people today, you know, I'm talking about Illinois. A lot of our young people set it out because of what was going on in Palestine, you know,
right?
and
Same here. Same here.
yeah, yeah. And so they didn't get out to vote at all. They didn't vote for Kamala. They didn't vote for Trump. They just set it out, you know. And so now that they see that their lives are being affected by what's going on now, I truly believe this was like a learning process for them.
Thank you.
And I
Thank you.
truly believe this time, because if you notice, like No King marches, how
Yeah.
millions and millions of people have been marching for that No King. And so I truly believe that it's going to be more and more people, young people, to vote in 2028.
It
I
has to
truly
be.
believe that. Yeah.
And I
Because
try to
you,
talk about the lesser of two evils, and they don't seem to get that either. Like, no, well,
Mhm.
no, it has to be perfect, you know.
And
Yeah.
Carolyn, just to let you know, I almost got kicked out of my when I went to University of Washington, and I
Okay.
wrote about the occupation, and I almost got kicked out for um, for advocating for Palestine,
Mhm.
and you know, and I'll just say that since that time, and that was I graduated in 2007, and that was
Mhm.
during the Bush war. Since that time, I have I have really come to understand the extremely complicated history of
Mhm.
Israel Palestine, like a country founded by the UN, and agreed to by international parties after World War II, and these
Mhm.
victims of the Holocaust founding, refounding this nation, and then the Nakba and all the trauma and tragedy of that experience. And so the way that I've always seen it, and I've been trying to articulate this, especially to young people who are understandably disgusted by the nightmare of
Yeah.
Netanyahu's fascist regime in Israel. I've been
Mhm.
trying to say, you know, it's two traumatized people re-traumatizing each other over and over and over again. And you got
Mhm.
us, and that's been a bipartisan consensus. Arming and defending Israel, and then you have Russia and China and Iran,
Mhm.
giving arms and weapons and military tactics to Hezbollah and the Houthis and Hamas. And it's just, I keep trying to say, Carolyn, and I'm wondering what your feelings are on this. I keep trying to say there are righteous people in Israel and Palestine fighting the fascist forces within their countries. And I don't understand why we can't advocate for both to overthrow the theocratic tyrannies of both
Mhm.
the Israeli government and being hijacked by Netanyahu's kahanists and the Islamist terrorists who make life hell for the people in the occupied territories. And
Yeah.
what's your take on all that, and how do you, because you nailed it. We saw the same thing. Young
Mhm.
people not voting due to what they, you know, due to the trauma of that conflict and seeing it
Mhm.
day in, day out on their phones. I'm just wondering, where do you stand on all that? And
And I forgot to add the immigrants too. A lot of people didn't vote because of that reason as well. And it's all about the money. It's all about the money. It's all about the oil. That's what the fight is really about, to be honest with you. And it's always going to be, um, we're always, especially Iran. I mean, they didn't start this fight. Trump started the fight.
Yeah.
Now he's trying to finish it, but I don't think he's going to be successful in trying to finish it. He keep lying to us, and right there, that's like who you don't know who to believe.
no,
You don't know who to believe. You don't know if you should believe his vice president. You don't know if you should believe him. You don't it's sad that we're in dark times now. And the only person that's going to bring light is God, because I truly believe and I have faith in God that he's going to bring light to the United States and to the country in general. I truly believe that. And so it's just that, like I said, you can't really see what's really happening, but it's going to be a light day. And it's because right now it's kind of like dark, but you're going to see one day you're going to wake up and say, yes, Miss Ruff was right, but you just have to have faith, and you have to take, just take one day at a time. That's my philosophy. I'm not trying to put it off on anyone, but this is how I think,
I love that.
Is there anybody like inspiration, people that you have looked up to? Maybe Jesse Jackson, but anybody, Jesse Jackson, or anybody else that you want to bring up that has inspired you to keep going and fight a certain fight? And
Harriet Tubman,
yeah,
Rosa Parks, all of our ancestors, really, that I look up to and try to like mimic them, that's what keep me going, because I've been to Africa twice to talk about, in 2023 and 2024, I traveled to Africa because I was invited to go to talk about justice in the United States,
Wow.
And then I met this pastor from India. So he asked me if I could come to India and talk about social justice in America.
Ooh.
And I was there in 2025.
Wow.
And so, so it's like my name is really all over the country, including the continents. My
all over
name
the
is
world.
out there.
That's beautiful. That is really. And Carolyn, you said that you're a singer. Yes.
I can sing, but I can't lead songs. But I can sing. I try to sing.
Well, what we're trying to do with our podcast is called DiscoDemocracy.fun, because we don't think that democracy, fun can't survive without democracy. Do you agree with that, Carolyn?
I agree. That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So what music or artists have given you hope as well? Like, are there any that you always come back to?
I love Stevie Wonder.
Well,
now do you listen to, now he has his songs are freedom fighter songs.
All of
them.
You
notice. And I love Stevie. And as far as a female singer, Aretha Franklin, she's no longer with us, but she was my favorite.
I think she's still with us, if
her
you know what I mean.
Her songs are, her spirit, absolutely, yeah. And if you notice at the convention, Reverend Al Sharpton always mentioned Reverend Jackson.
Of course.
And I had a chance to speak to Reverend Al, and I said, Reverend Jackson was really preparing you, because you said he was your mentor at the age of 13. And I said to him, he was really preparing you to be the next leader, to follow his legacy, to keep his legacy going, because Reverend Al has a powerful legacy too. You
don't say. Yes.
Yeah. So, and Reverend Jackson was like a father to him, or a big brother, or however you would say that, but more or less like a father. But now, if you notice now, it seems like Reverend Al is the next leader of the followers of the civil rights, of the freedom fighters, activists. He's the teacher, he's the leader. So we all going to look up to him and follow his lead.
I mean, that's all I do. I am addicted to his radio show, Keeping It Real, and whether he likes it or not, thank God for Reverend Jackson. May he rest in power, because through him, I have my father figure, which, whether he likes it or not, Reverend Sharpton is my father figure now, because he is this man. He has given me
carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people.
a space to.
All right, let's go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia.
He's basically, through his radio show, been a mentor to me and has allowed me to come to him with my insights. And Carolyn, I think that dovetails really perfectly into a question that I wanted to ask you about, which is, what has been troubling to me, and Reverend Sharpton and I have talked about it at length, is the sort of, let's say, the progressive caucus, the progressive movement, right?
We also need to define what progressive means.
Certain far left Democratic politicians and influencers.
Because progressive for who?
Seem to be.
There's nothing progressive about supporting somebody that just had a Nazi tattoo till 2 years ago.
Disinterested in the leadership of Reverend Sharpton. For instance, when the NAN convention was happening, Ilhan Omar went to LA to sit beside a big influencer by the name of Hassan Piker. Are you familiar with him?
Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat? Suck my fucking okay?
No, I'm not.
Right. So
we're talking about fucking creating solidarity, and you immediately got Root.com article regurgitators in here instantly being like, sweetie, you don't understand black people. Shut the fuck up.
While the NAN convention was happening, Ilhan travels to LA to sit next to this man who has said,
doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
Some of the most
old enough to count, old enough to mount?
Reprehensible things about.
I'm being a total misogynist, but I'm being honest.
Women, about black people.
I don't give a what black people care about.
Jewish people.
Liberal Israelis who are themselves most likely bloodthirsty.
Sounds like Charlie Kirk.
Well, it's a very interesting, it's not, it's incredibly interesting that you say that, Carolyn, because the group Pussy Riot from Russia, you're familiar with them, right?
Pussy Riot Girl 100% worked with, American State Department when against Russia, for sure.
They posted a couple days ago, I think right around the time, the last day of the convention, they posted on their Twitter account a clip of Hassan Piker, the leftist, right, who loves Bernie Sanders, and Tucker Carlson, the Nazi, and it was the two of them saying the same thing about how Pussy Riot
Girl 100% worked with
a U.S.
American State
Department against propaganda mission, and it's not, and basically that is Russia's talking points to get people to think that that resisting Russia is somehow a part of the American
it was tactical
imperial agenda or something, right? So the point is that we're seeing more and more what they call the horseshoe theory.
Two friends
of the far left and the far right
who you wouldn't expect to see
uniting
at the same time. Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California, and a guy who's not in California, Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida. You and Matt get along.
We do get along.
On issues of economics.
We work to get PAC money out of politics. We both believe that lobbyists shouldn't be running this place.
Right? And
we even hang out.
And my concern is that they are not centering the civil rights movement. They are ignoring the civil rights movement. They're ignoring the Black Jewish alliance, right? And they're saying, let's partner and guess what? Economics will just fix it all. And then racism will disappear. And see, the way that I see that, Carolyn, and I'm wondering if you have any insights into this, is I say you can't have a progressive movement if you don't center the civil rights movement, which created the progressive movement.
Right.
How do you feel about these forces of the far left and far right aligning? And are you paying any attention to that?
Well, I know, like, for instance, like the Democrats, there's some of them are not true Democrats. You know what I'm saying? They're carrying the name as a Democrat, but they're basically Republicans, And don't get me wrong, back in the day, the Republicans, because my grandmother was a Republican, nothing compared to the Republicans today.
No. You're talking about before the Southern Strategy, before LBJ signed the Civil Rights Bill and the Voting Rights Act. Right. And that's when the Democrats flipped and the Dixiecrats fled to the Republican Party.
Yep.
Right.
Because there a lot of the Democrats today, they cave in to the Republicans. And that's why we're like at a standstill, because we're not all on one accord. And I'm talking about the politicians, like the Democrats and the Republicans.
I mean, you're exactly right.
And it's really sad because and our young people see that. That's why it's so hard for them to get the votes out. Why should we vote? They're not blah, 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 blah. And they see all of this. They see the fighting. They see, all
right, we're here with Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib.
I mean, they just see all of the hatred that's going on within the two parties.
Democrats need to understand, like, they can't win the culture war.
And it's really a sad situation, but you just have to continue to educate them, and let them know, you can't look at that. You got to look at what's being taken away from you. Pretty soon you won't be able to go to college. It's going to be so expensive. I encourage our young people, it's good to have a college degree, but please think about going to school to take a trade. And then once you finish the trade and got a good job, because most people that have trades have better jobs than people going to college and ending up with a humongous bill. And so I tell them, think about trade first, and then you could pursue your education or further if that's what you if that's what you want. But at least you could start your own business and still go to school if you want to go to college. But at least you have something under your belt,
a trade that that is needed. That's
what they need to bring back, the trades. They need to talk about that more than college. If you notice, they all, they're always talking about college this, college that. But once you finish college, you can't get a job. So you end up working at McDonald's, trying to being a waitress or whatever.
That's what I was for 20 years.
It's really sad though, because you go to college and you think, you come out, you're going to find a great job and stuff like that. And it's totally different now,
Well, Carolyn, I think the thing too that really needs to be the thing that frustrates me though about the trades is that I think everybody needs to know Toni Morrison in this country. I think everybody needs to know, the tradition,
history too. Like you don't really get history in the trade. But.
The history of the struggle, of the people's struggle, in order to understand that we're all in this together.
Right? Yeah.
And a lot of times, when I see people, just with a trade, they kind of say, I don't care about history. I don't care about that. So I feel like, but again, that's why we're creating this podcast, because we need to hear voices like yours who've been there, who are fighting for justice and amplify you. Because again, I'm just tired of seeing white men talk to other white men that claim to be Democrats.
The Democrats are offering what?
No, I agree. That's
like,
where
what are they offering?
Well, yeah, no, I know. We got to figure it out.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm rich.
and telling women like you what Democrats need to be doing. We need you telling Democrats what Democrats need to be doing, because Black women are the base of the Democratic Party.
Yes, we are. Yes.
And when I see, it breaks my heart because Carolyn, I've been a progressive Democrat my whole life, but I had blinders on because the whole time that I was believing that I was part of the movement for many, many years, there was a lot of leftist white people who, again, like I said, weren't really paying attention to Reverend Sharpton, weren't really paying attention to Reverend Jackson. And what traumatizes me is when I see Ilhan Omar or Ro Khanna go and sit next to a guy who says stuff like, it doesn't matter if effing rapes happen on October 7th, or tells his viewers, he has millions of followers, and he tells viewers to suck his genitals for asking a question about when is the last time you discussed the Sudanese genocide. And he melts down and says, F you, F this, suck my effing D, and all this just garbage. And then Ilhan Omar goes and sits down next to him and finds common ground with him like he's some great guy just because he has millions of followers. And during her interview with Pod Save America, the white guys, the millionaires who are the former Obama speechwriters, she said, we need to embrace and wrap our arms around Marjorie Taylor Greene and Candace Owens, who are literal neo-Nazis just because they've woken up and realized that Trump is bad. And I say,
exactly.
Do you agree with that? Should we be wrapping our arms around people who are Nazis, but they don't like Trump anymore? Or should we?
No, we still should keep our distance.
Thank you.
Know, I mean, we should be wrapping our arms around Jasmine Crockett.
Hello!
I'm just keeping it real, you know. But a lot of the Hispanic people did not vote for her in Texas. That's why she lost, and she fought for them, but they did not vote for her.
Carolyn, you know why? Because in my view, and from the research that I've been doing, there's a lot of Latin men and women who think that they're part of the white folk, and they're not. And they're not. And the white supremacists aren't going to let them into the club. And this is what drives me crazy about Kanye West.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep.
How do we do it, Carolyn? How do we fix this madness?
Well, you know, Kanye, he's not a good example. That's all I have to say. You know, mental health matters. You know what I mean? Mental health matters. So I'm just keeping it real. He don't realize that he definitely needs to get some help here. But
you know, Carolyn, when they're untouchable with their millions and billions of dollars, Elon Musk said, "Right, never went to therapy on my tombstone." That's what he wants to be remembered as, the guy. And Kanye West and Dave Chappelle are friends of his. And I'm going, what is going on with this? Is this a new form of
friends with Trump too, aren't they?
Yes. I mean, well, Dave Chappelle will say, no, I'm not really, but I'm friends with Elon Musk. I mean, it's
come on. No.
Did Bob Dylan say, is your money that good? Will it buy you forgiveness? Do you think that it could? You know, I mean,
yeah. It's mind-boggling, but you know, like I said, you know, we just take one day at a time and keep the faith, and things are really happening positive. We might not see it, but it's happening.
I will pray.
This world is going to take a big change in 2028 or before, probably before.
Carolyn, isn't this just the age of Aquarius, and these old men, these psychopaths are know that it's coming, and they know that the Epstein files are coming, and they know that time's up for them, and they're just freaking out and losing control.
Especially Congress. They can't see anything that Trump is doing. You know, they're going along with him. But guess what? Their seat will be taken too. So, like I said, in 2028, it's going to be totally different because they're losing seats now.
Okay, Carolyn, I'm going to ask you the last question because I know you got to get going. But here's my question.
Listen, I might.
Kamala got the biggest. She got the biggest applause of all the days that any potential presidential contender was in there. Are you hoping she runs again, or how are you feeling?
Let me also say this.
What do you feel like?
I'm hoping that Maryland.
Westmore? Or Westmore?
Westmore. Yeah, I hope he run for president. Or I hope the governor from Philadelphia and Jasmine Crockett be his running mate. I hope the two of them. And that would be a powerful ticket.
I have not heard of that dream ticket yet.
It would be powerful.
I will co-sign that.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Wow.
Exactly. Or the governor from California.
So you're thinking Kamala shouldn't, or how are you feeling? You're going to wait and see, or
I don't think.
Listen, I might.
Yeah, I don't think the world would vote for a woman right now.
Really?
It's not going to be in my time. It might be in your time because you're much younger than me, but I don't think it's going to happen in 2028. To be honest with you.
Really? See, here's.
I don't really see it either. It hasn't happened.
I just gave you three powerful people that need to run.
I love that. No, no, I love all that. I love all that. But see, I'm still keeping the hope alive that this orange toe fungus will so infect and poison everyone that we will want the exact opposite of it in the most qualified Black woman to ever run, and if she actually has 2 years to campaign, maybe things will be different. But I'm open. I'm willing to stay open. I just don't want anybody who was ever a Nazi or whoever got a Nazi chest tattoo to be anywhere near the Democratic Party. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I hear you. Do
you agree with that?
I totally agree. And I truly believe that in 2028 we're going to be dancing in the street. You heard that song? What was the name of the song? "Dancing in the Street" by
Martha and the Vandellas. Martha and the Vandellas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. Come on.
Yeah.
And then David Bowie and.
The Mamas and the Papas did.
No, it was Martha and the Vandellas, and David Bowie and Mick Jagger did a cover of it, and it was really bad.
Mamas and the Papas also did a cover of it.
Did they really? Mamas and the Papas did?
Yeah. But yeah.
You two would know. You're old.
There's gonna be some brighter days ahead. Put it that way.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm just thankful that God introduced us, and that I found a freedom fighter and a brilliant. I don't really believe you're elder because you look younger than me, but if you say you are, all right.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be 80 in 2 years.
Shut.
I'll be 79 this year, and then the year that we're voting Trump out, I'll be 80. So that's going to be my birthday present.
For president.
Yeah, you should run. I'll vote for you over Bernie Sanders. I'll tell you that.
I'm a Bernie Sanders person too.
Hey, I mean, it's all good. I like all of what he says. I just don't think he should run for anything. But you are a.
But he's too old right now to run for anything right now.
Thank you.
It's about our young people. Like the people that I just uttered out their names. It's about them.
Yes, it is. And it's always about you. And thank you for being our official second guest on DiscoDemocracy.fun. And and I can't wait to upload this and brag about my conversation with you to Reverend Al on Keeping It Real.
Oh.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it is a true blessing.
Go ahead.
No, you say it.
Go ahead.
It is a true blessing. And
thank you.
And
thank you for doing this. You're amazing, and I really appreciate your perspective.
Yes. Thank you so very much. And
Carolyn,
may God bless you. May God bless both of you, and keep the faith. In 2028, I will travel to New York. Where is this coming out of? New York or
We're in Philly. We're in Philly.
Oh my God. So you please encourage
your
governor. Encourage your governor to run for president. Please.
Okay. See, look at that. I said he got a big round of applause in there. I'm telling you.
Okay.
We're going to do it.
I'll see you later, and I have to go. But
have a safe drive, darling.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
Thank you too much, and stay safe and stay stronger than ever. And let's do this again. Bless you, love.
We will. I
Bye-bye.
promise you, we will. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye, love.
Bye-bye.